40 light-years away, a small, faint red star flickers quietly in the constellation Aquarius. On most nights, you wouldn't even know it was there. But orbiting this dim star is something extraordinary. 7 rocky planets, all roughly the size of Earth. This is TRAPPIST-1, one of the most intriguing planetary systems ever discovered. Since its announcement in 2017, TRAPPIST-1 has captivated scientists and dreamers alike. With not 1, not 2, but 3 planets in the habitable zone, it quickly became a prime candidate in the search for alien life. But there's a catch. A rocky world isn't enough. A planet might sit at just the right distance from its star, but unless it has an atmosphere, it's likely cold, dead, and sterile. No protection, no liquid water, no life as we know it. That's where the James Webb Space Telescope comes in. Launched to peer deeper into space and time than any telescope before it, Webb has been tasked with answering one of the biggest questions in science. Did TRAPPIST-1's planets manage to hold onto their atmospheres? And now, for the first time, we have answers. Discovered by the TRAPPIST telescope in Chile, and later confirmed by NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope, TRAPPIST-1 is a red dwarf, a star smaller and cooler than our Sun. It's only about 9% the mass of the Sun and burns far more dimly. But that faintness has a benefit. It makes it easier to spot the silhouettes of planets as they pass in front of the star. And there are many, 7 rocky planets, designated TRAPPIST-1b through TRAPPIST-1h, orbit tightly around their host star. In fact, all 7 would fit well within the orbit of Mercury. Their years range from just 1.5 to 19 Earth days. But this compactness has a silver lining. Because the planets pass in front of the star so frequently, and because the star is relatively dim, it gives astronomers a perfect laboratory for studying transits. Every time a planet crosses the star's face, a tiny fraction of light filters through its atmosphere, if it has one. That's the key, and that's where James Webb comes in. Unlike visible light telescopes like Hubble, the James Webb Space Telescope sees in the infrared. It's exquisitely sensitive to heat, even the faintest warmth from distant objects. But one of Webb's most powerful abilities is transit spectroscopy. Here's how it works. When a planet passes in front of its star, a tiny bit of starlight passes through the thin rim of the planet's atmosphere. Molecules in that atmosphere absorb specific wavelengths of light. By measuring which parts of the light spectrum are missing, astronomers can detect the fingerprints of gases like water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, or oxygen. It's like scanning a planet's breath. For the TRAPPIST-1 system, Webb has begun targeting several of the planets, starting with TRAPPIST-1b, one of the inner, hotter worlds. The goal? To determine whether it has an atmosphere, and what that might mean for the rest. In mid-2023, astronomers released the first detailed data from Webb on TRAPPIST-1b. What they found was telling. Webb observed the planet during a transit and measured the light curve with extreme precision. The results? No evidence of a thick atmosphere. There were no spectral signatures of water vapor, carbon dioxide, or methane. In fact, the data suggests that TRAPPIST-1b likely doesn't have an atmosphere at all, or at least not one thick enough for Webb to detect. This was disappointing to some, but not unexpected. TRAPPIST-1b orbits very close to its star. It's blasted with solar radiation hundreds of times more intense than Earth receives. Over billions of years, this radiation likely stripped away any atmosphere it once had. But remember, TRAPPIST-1b is the innermost world, the scorched one. The real hope lies farther out, with the planets in the habitable zone, and those are next on Webb's list. While TRAPPIST-1b is likely airless, the system's middle planets, especially TRAPPIST-1e, F, and G, orbit in a more temperate zone. Not too hot, not too cold. These are the ones considered potentially habitable. But there's a major challenge: the nature of red dwarf stars. Unlike our relatively calm sun, red dwarfs are known for violent stellar flares, especially in their youth. Intense radiation and plasma outbursts could strip the atmospheres of close-in planets, even those in the habitable zone. This raises a grim possibility. What if none of the TRAPPIST-1 planets retain their atmospheres? But it's not all bad news. Some models suggest that if a planet had a strong magnetic field, or if it was born with a thick enough atmosphere to begin with, it might survive the flaring period. Or if volcanic activity replenishes gases over time, a secondary atmosphere might form. Webb's mission is to test these possibilities, one planet at a time. So, what exactly are astronomers looking for? Best case scenario, Webb detects a planet with a stable, temperate atmosphere. Maybe it has signs of water vapor, a balanced level of carbon dioxide, or even a hint of methane or oxygen, gases that, on Earth, are often linked to life. Even a bare-bones CO2 atmosphere would be huge. It would mean the planet could potentially retain heat, support liquid water, and shield its surface from radiation. Alternatively, we might find hazy, Venus-like atmospheres, thick, toxic, but still atmospheres. Or we might find nothing. But here's the important part. Even a null result teaches us something profound. Because by studying which planets have air and which don't, we start to map the true conditions of habitability in the galaxy. Why do we care so much about atmospheres? Because atmospheres are where life interacts with planets. They regulate temperature. They circulate nutrients. They block harmful radiation. They hold water in vapor, cloud, and rain. And on Earth, they hold the chemical fingerprints of biology: oxygen from plants, methane from microbes, carbon dioxide from volcanoes, and human activity. If we ever hope to find life elsewhere, it probably won't be by seeing alien cities or spacecraft. It will be by detecting the right gases in the right ratios. That's why Webb's atmospheric studies are so crucial. They represent our best shot, so far, at detecting biosignatures light years away. Webb is just getting started. Observations of TRAPPIST-1e, F, and G are underway. Each requires multiple transits to build up enough data. It's painstaking, delicate work, teasing out faint signals from noisy light. But the payoff could be extraordinary. Meanwhile, scientists are also studying stellar activity, measuring TRAPPIST-1's flares, wind, and radiation over time. This helps refine models of atmospheric erosion. And beyond TRAPPIST-1, Webb is targeting other exoplanetary systems, some larger, some younger, some with gas giants that might have habitable moons. Every observation adds a new thread to the tapestry of planetary science. And slowly, we're stitching together the answer to a question as old as humanity. Are we alone? So, did James Webb find an atmosphere near TRAPPIST-1? Not yet, but it's looking. And in that search, we are glimpsing something profound. Not just the nature of distant planets, but the rarity of our own. Earth's atmosphere is fragile, complex, balanced in a way that, so far, seems astonishingly rare. TRAPPIST-1 remains one of our best chances to find another Earth, or at least to understand what makes a planet truly alive. So the next time you look up into a night sky filled with stars, remember, out there, somewhere, light is passing through alien air, or perhaps none at all. And across a gulf of time and space, a telescope listens for a breath in the darkness.